To Thursday. Excellent. And wow, where did everybody go? And you stayed for my morning presentation and you came back for the afternoon too? Man, that's excellent. Yeah. So what did we talk about this morning? Lighting, yep. I don't see any light on these walls. So, well, let's talk about what we talked about this morning. What
hey,
are
Randy, who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you, Randy, and who do you represent?
They know who I am. They were there this morning.
I know they know, but those guys over there that want to come in here and sit down, they don't know you yet.
I am Randy Fleming. Okay, is that good?
That All right. Randy Fleming is in the house.
That's nothing, though. We got Dan Hecox. All right.
Yeah,
Nebraska boy, Mr. Mark Heinlein.
Woo,
Nagani, Wisconsin.
Yes, Nagani,
Wisconsin.
That's
excellent.
Right, yeah.
So now you know who we are. We're with the National Tile Contractors Association. We want to train you how to do things right. Thank you. I just got the cue and I've got it, Davey. Oh, and sorry, I forgot. There we go. I gave her a heads up. Now, I'm 3 minutes behind, but we're all right. So we talked about lighting, how bad some things can look. How do these panels look right now? A and B, not bad, right? Do I get 2 thumbs up? 2 thumbs up? Looking good, right? What are some things that can influence how this wall looks if it looks bad? What are some things that contribute to it looking bad? How about uneven surface? So the substrate behind could be uneven, that could be it. How about what else? What else can make it look uneven? How about just the tile itself? Sometimes just the way tile's manufactured, it can maybe not look so good. So right now I got 2 thumbs up on both these panels. Can you guys tell a difference between the one here and the one here? Mark's panel and Dan's panel. You guys are getting the credit. You guys get the credit for these. Ouch, don't do that. So, Mr. Ford, Mark, you like Mark's better. All right. What makes it look better? It just looks a little flatter to you? Oh, so you can see some from where you're at. Does it look horrible or just some things maybe need to be fixed? Could be a little bit better. Okay. So even though these might not look too bad right now, what happens when we say lights on? Well, let's take a look. Now, I actually tried to install these fairly flat. This one I tried to do a pretty good job with. This one I tried to make a little bit uneven just so I could see the difference. This one here, I have to take my glasses off, I can see close. That looks pretty good, pretty flat. How's it for lippage, right? From tile to tile, we should be less than a 30-second, but with sheet-mounted mosaics, we should have no problem. Sometimes you'll get into a problem with a sheet-mounted mosaic if you get too thin on your setting bed. Sometimes guys will use mastic organic adhesive, use a small notch and put it up there. That's going to show every single imperfection in that substrate. If you use the right amount of mortar, right amount of material behind it, you get room for cushion to build that material or to flatten that tile out, make it nice and flat. So this was tried to make nice and flat, and still the lighting can still show some imperfections in it. Now the one here on my right, is this my right? This is my right. Stage right. All of this, you can see lots of imperfections in here. You can see chips. We can see lippage issues on that. Can we zoom in on this right here? Sometimes tile have this as they come out of the factory, they have these little lines on them that stick from the mounting process that's left behind. The chips, this is straight out of the box. Sometimes you'll have chips like that. And then just bad grout joints. Look at like a grout joint like right here. Those are things that don't look good. Another thing, and this is in our in our NTCA reference manual, the die release lines. What is a die release line? If you can focus in, like this tile here looks pretty good, but look, you see that little ridge at the very top or the one above that? Those start to show up under critical lighting situations. You have those and they stand out and they are really unsightly. So if I'm going to install this tile for someone, how do I protect myself as a contractor? I'm going to install this. They've got grazed wall lighting. How can I protect myself as a contractor before installing the tile? I can't protect myself after it's installed and grouted, but beforehand, what can I do? What are some things I can do to make my life easier and protect myself? Mr. Ford. Check it for flatness, excellent point. So we check it for flatness, we're pretty good, but we know we still got this lighting going to be on the wall. What else could we do ahead of time? Could we maybe do a sample or do a mock-up ahead of time? Put it up, get it grouted, get the light on it, have them approve it. If that's the case, they'll see all these imperfections. If they still love that, good deal. Install the tile. So do a mock-up first. So that's our 2x2. Does it get any better or worse as size gets bigger? Well, let's take a look. Let's turn our lights off and let's get ready to change panels. I'll trade you sides. They're going to move these panels around. So we're going to take off the 2x2. I got your back. There you go. So as they get that one off, now we're going from 2x2 up to 4 1/4. Our size has changed a little bit. And with our size, I have the back panel. There you go. So good, strong help. When you have help on stage, you need good, strong help. So now we changed to 4 1/4. Okay, 2 thumbs up, one on my right or left. Which one looks better? This one? This one? This one? Avi says this one looks better. This one? Which one? John, which one looks better to you? They look pretty good, right? That looks pretty good. They look pretty good. Okay, let's do lights on. Let's see how they look once we get the lights on. So not horrible, but you can certainly start to see differences in it that you didn't see before. One thing that I really noticed when I did these, I grouted these on the floor ahead of time with no additional light on them. So when we set them up over there ahead of time, I looked at it. I actually had to touch up this grout to look this bad. It looked worse than this when I finished. So it looked really bad. So I came through here and tried to smooth some of these joints out. So it doesn't look too bad. Overall, pretty nice and flat. Same thing here, but you can see some of the tiles have some lippage issues. Now this is not huge. I am within my industry standard. Now what is my tolerance from one tile to the next? How much up from one tile to the next can I have height difference? A 32nd of an inch with this small of a joint. So this, I am within my standard, but still look, I still have tile that doesn't look good. So once again, what do we go back to? Ahead of time, check your substrate. So can we check our substrate? Can we do it now? Let's do this now. Let's just check and see how flat are we? Oh my. What, if you hold it there even, what do you got on your side, Mark?
I've got about a 1/4 inch here, easy, Randy.
Yep, and I've got a 1/4 inch on my side. So in 5 feet, not even 5 feet, because this panel's 5 foot, in not even 5 feet of distance, I've got a 1/4 inch that this is not flat. So if this was less than a 1/4 of an inch, and I was in the 5 feet, I can install this tile, but I'm within my 1/4 inch in 10 feet. If this flattened out from there, I should be able to install this. How would I know how to properly install this? I need to know that there's going to be lighting above it ahead of time before I prep my surface while I checked it. So before I install it, I check it, check for lighting. If I have those issues, I want to make sure that maybe the lights aren't in. No electricity to the building yet. The lights are still 6 weeks out from when we install. What are we going to do? Put up your temporary lights above a wall you're going to do. If you're doing a floor, sometimes if you have windows that are on the outside and it's shining across the floor, maybe put some of those LED or halogen lights that shine in one direction. Put those at the direction your natural light will be coming across the floor. You can use that to get an idea how much shadow you're going to have from one piece to the next. So that's some things we can do, maybe beating it in a little bit better. Maybe I could have used a little bit bigger notch trowel to help take care of the difference. I only used a 1/4 by 1/4 notch trowel, which is really good for a nice flat surface. But if I have a hump in it, I might need to take the size of the notch trowel up a little bit to flatten that surface out. So those are some things we can do to fix our walls. Let's see, so that's 4 1/4, 2 by 2 out of the way. Let's turn lights off and let's go a little bit bigger. So as you see now, we've changed actually quite a bit bigger in size of tile. So we went from 2 by 2 to 4 1/4, and now we're up to 6 by 16. Nice big tiles. My tile setters in the audience, what size tile do you set the most of? 2 by 2, 4 1/4, or sizes like this or bigger? Bigger? Yeah, bigger, bigger. Everybody wants bigger. Plank tile, what was Scott telling us? 7-foot long plank tile for floors. Huge tile. Our substrates have to be exceptionally flat over large distances. So now, what do we have? We have choice A and B. Which one looks better to you guys? This one? This one? I got this one. Is it this one? This one's not looking so good? Does it look bad, or does it just see a little bit of a difference between the two? Little? Just a little bit? Okay. On this one here, you can see it? Not so much over here? Okay, so let's do this. Let's go lights on. Let's see how they look once we turn our lights on. Oh. Even though this one is nice and flat, the surface, you can still see that we have a little bit of a deviation in height from tile to tile. But do you notice how bad do these grout joints look under this much lighting? Yeah, they don't look great. If I tiled this and grouted this while I had a light on, I could have avoided most of this because you can see it. If you can't see it, you can't tile it properly. So you need to be able to see it, see what the problem is before the problem occurs. So flat, yes. Good grout joints, not so much. Now on this one, let's put an edge across this. Obviously we can see the lippage inside here. So what does that tell us is happening behind this panel? I got a hump, yep. So if I've got a hump, let's take a look. How big of a hump do I have in this? Oh boy. Let's even it out. I'm probably almost 3/8 of an inch on my end. You?
Absolutely, 3/8 of an inch easy.
Yep. So this is outside the standard for even one of the smaller tiles, let alone the larger tile. So if we check the substrate ahead of time, we can see that, oops, there's going to be a problem, especially with this kind of plank tile. That's not going to look good when we're done. What else can we do with a panel? We check it, we see that we have work that needs to be done. So let's just, on these pieces that we put in, let's just put some gobs of thin set on the back of them and build them out. Will that work? What's that? That's not the right way. Why? What happens to thin set when we put a 1/2 inch of thin set behind this piece? Yep, so it shrinks. Yep, so thin set is not made to be the filler. It's only meant to be the bonder, right? We only use thin set to bond the tile, not fill up the gap because we have a bad wall or a bad floor. So we need to fix it properly. You know what all these manufacturers in here, they make? The substrate prep manufacturers, patch materials made exactly for that. If you fill this and you live in Wisconsin, Mark, how long would a 1/2 inch of thin set behind tile take to dry?
Well, easily overnight, well into the next day, depending on exterior conditions, and that might migrate into the house.
Right, and then also if it's taking that long to dry and cure, during that whole time, it's starting to shrink. But then if it's outside, it could freeze. You get your thin set, it freezes outside, game over. That tile will fall off. So we have to do something different. So we need to do our prep, do it with the right products, right materials. It'll avoid those problems. All right, let's do one last one. How about that?
Sure.
Okay, let's go lights off and let's change one last panel.
We'll just change this one, Dan.
So you don't get a choice A and B on this. You only get a choice A. So how popular is wood plank? Everywhere today, right? So people are putting it in floors, walls, ceilings, everything. The bad thing with the large plank is just like on the last panel here, as you get larger with the panels, our substrate needs to be flatter. So right now, how does it look overall? Not bad, right? Almost acceptable without being too close. So, okay, how about let's turn on a light and see how we do. So, same thing, we still see grout issues, we still see a little bit of lippage issues. What's a problem with this panel? See, this one had a 1/3 offset. What's this panel have? 50%. Are we supposed to set tile that's over 15 inches in length at a 50% offset? No. What's our offset? Max 33, right? So does that mean, Mrs. Jones, she really wants the 50% offset. We can't do it. Game off. Game over. She's going to have to find someone else. Can we do it? Yes. If we're going to do it, what do we have to do first? Mock-up. We get a mock-up done. We have Mrs. Jones come take a look at it. Mrs. Jones, this is what it's going to look like. Hey, I still like it anyhow. Go ahead and do it. You have the owner signing off. She's approved it. Great. Good deal.
So Randy, I've got a question for you.
One.
If this is your actual mock-up that's being approved by the owner,
Yes.
and it's not going to be part of the permanent installation,
Oh, don't do that. You should do it part of the permanent installation.
okay, you could,
Yep.
maybe on a big commercial job or
Correct.
something. But if it's just, if it's a house,
Yep.
and this is your mock-up, could you have them just sign it and take a picture of it, maybe?
Well, sure. Mr. Heinlein, do you like this work?
I do like this.
Well, would you sign it, please?
I really love the 50% offset. I know that you're telling me all about your industry standards, and I understand that, but I just love this look.
Excellent. Just sign
All
it,
right.
then we can go ahead.
Do you want me to date this also?
That would be good. That way we have a record of it.
What
And
is today, guys?
30th?
30th? Okay. So what would you do to put this in your permanent record?
So I would take a picture of this and I would
Okay.
send a copy to you in an email.
All right. How about I'll just take a picture of it for you. You stand by it. Got it?
So we take a
Okay.
picture of it. Now we make it as part of an email. Thank you for your approval of our
Yes.
mock-up, and we're ready to begin work on Friday morning.
Okay. Send it.
Good. Is there anything else we could do with this? Maybe she still loves the tile, loves the pattern. Is there anything else we could do with this, even though it's a 50% mock-up, to maybe make it look better? Change the lighting, but she loves her lighting. She really wants that accent on that wall to really highlight it. Let's try something. Let's take the light, turn the lights off.
Okay.
How about we go vertical? So now we have it. Now turn on the lights once we've gone vertical. So same lippage, same issues. That didn't change any. But now we're only trying to match up a 6-inch end with a 6-inch end. We still have the same lippage issues from the side, but we might be able to just simply turn the pattern, and then we will have less of an issue with lighting and lippage like that. So if you're installing tile, number one, what are we doing? First thing when we get to the job, what do we do? Check the substrate, right? We want to check. If it's not flat, we tell them, hey, we need to do some work here. Ah, but you're my guy, Willie. I've done work with you for years. Take care of it, we'll be fine. No, we don't do that. We don't take someone else's problem and make it our problem. We have to make sure that it stays with them. So we check our substrate, we do a mock-up, we get it done, get it approved, have the lighting. If we don't have lighting, get temporary lighting, light that thing up, get it approved, you're good, you're safe. Any questions? Yeah? No questions. No questions. Then we did good today. All right. Thank you all. Appreciated you coming. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Randy. Great job. Thanks, everybody. Great job, Randy.
Thank you, Mark.